Okay, so take me to Brandon growing up
Hmm.
in California. Were you always a kid who had a vivid imagination and was creating these larger than life characters? Was that always who you were?
Always, always, always. Well, I used to have there was a park by our house, and the kids would always go up, meet up there, and they would I would be the one setting like what game we were playing. Like if we were pirates, like I would be like, oh, well, there's a whole lore I would unravel and be like, well, I'm clearly the captain, and you're this person, but you just got out of a relationship with that crew member, and this and that, and we would like have these. And we were very alienating to other kids that come to the playground and didn't know us because we were doing our pirate ship thing or whatever. We were a police force or whatever the game, or it wasn't a game to me. It was just like pure imagination, untapped. Like it was just like, and then we go back to the park the next day or the next week, and you build on these stories, and next thing you know, there's like like arcs and things. It's like so much to be writing all this down. There's lore happening at the playground. And then yeah, I went into like middle school, high school. I got really interested in writing. I took a lot of like creative writing, science fiction, fantasy classes, and then I later took film and theater, and you kind of add all these things. I realized I thought I was a writer, and then I was like, oh no, I'm a theater kid. And then I realized, oh, I'm gay, so I could be both. And then I was like, oh, I'm also this I like filmmaking and I love editing, and 2006, like, or 2005, my junior year, YouTube became a thing. So it's
Yeah.
like I was learning how to edit, I was learning how to write, I was learning how to act, how to improvise, how to, and it just the stars all kind of aligned exactly perfect to where all these skills suddenly had a platform that came out of the ether that I could put them all into. I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to take everything I know how to do and put it on YouTube, and that became a hobby that would eventually become a career. And I had no idea the world was going to evolve in a way that only would help this thing that I was ditching class to go do. Because at the time, nowadays you hear people say, "Oh, I got to make content. I gotta get this thing out." But there's a reason why like content and content are the same word. It's like shit. You're okay with being out there. And
Yeah.
for me, I loved it so much. I can't imagine being stressed over. Oh, I got to make this. It's like this was stuff that I was ditching. Like I was like ditching class and work. Once I got a day job, I was finding ways to bring my laptop and edit at my job.
Oh, wow.
And so anyway, that was a long-winded we
No,
can
I love
whittle
that.
that
That's
down.
great.
But yeah, it was it came by very honestly, for me, and very authentically. Yeah, I and my only bit of advice for anyone who wants to even go into any form of content production would just be like, love it. A lot of people fall out of love with it or get burnt out, and it happens to the biggest creators. And I think if you are passionate about what you do, you don't even consider like you're just like that's the only way. I can't imagine doing this if I wasn't obsessed with it.
Yeah. Well, you mention people getting into it because I feel like so many people look at it now as like growing up, kids are like, I just want to be an influencer or I just
Mhm.
want to be a content creator. It's a it's an avenue if you can actually access it. But the problem is, and what it seems like with you is
Yeah.
that the authenticity was so there from the very beginning and a platform that was just starting to get some momentum. And so it felt like you were allowed from the very beginning, or you felt inclined to be authentically whoever you wanted to be. Whereas I feel now people are trying to curate who they are,
Mm-hmm.
which I
Hmm.
feel like you can smell the inauthenticity of that.
Oh yeah. I think we can smell authenticity or inauthenticity a lot more than we give ourselves credit. I think it's very because it does fall into that uncanny valley sort of realm when someone's not being totally, you can't quite place what's wrong about what you're seeing, but this isn't a real person who's talking. That it could be the subtlest of bad acting in their face. It could be the way like the logic behind what they're saying. Why would someone want to say this, or why would um I think people see influencers online and they see that as like a final place of like, I want to get to there. That's my end game. I want to be that thing, but don't necessarily consider the passion or the pitfalls of having to get to that place, or the work that goes behind it. A lot of people come to conventions and they'll ask me how to get to where I am. And I think they see that. They see the version of me sitting at the table. I never did any of this to be at conventions. That was a
Right.
byproduct of what I was already doing. But they see that version of me on the panel and up there with, like, oh, he's having people sign on or he's signing autographs for people. And that must be, it's like that was never my dream as a teenager. Wasn't like one day I want to just sign autographs, although I did practice it in high school.
I mean, so did I, let's be honest.
Yeah, right. I did. When I'm famous, I'm going to sign like that. But
Yeah.
no, I always have been a storyteller first and foremost. And I think that for people to, if anyone wants to do what I'm doing, my only recommendation would just be to love it, because even I don't know if I could do it all over again. Like I couldn't,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could go back and give myself the advice. A lot of it was luck, which is like when hard work, when preparation meets opportunity. Yeah.
Exactly.
So like,
exactly.
So I don't know if I could do it again, because even though luck requires a lot of preparation, it's still a lot of other variables that play into it as well. But
Yeah.
I can say that the core ingredient that does get me off my ass every day, that keeps me watering the plant, is passion. Is this, like, literally the reason why I was a few minutes late to this interview was because I was hooked in an edit. I'm editing a fucking house fire and it looks so good. And I'm upset. And like, it's what I'm going back to after this interview. It's like, I take my laptop with me when I go to conventions. I'm editing in the green room.
Wow.
So yeah, it's I can't stress enough how being obsessed with your job, how important that is. Especially when it's something like a full-time job, being being someone who puts stuff out there on the internet. That is a full-time job. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Raycon. Do you guys remember back to school shopping as a kid? Because I do. And it was probably my favorite part of going back to school. The new notebooks, the new shoes, the new routines. And I'm not in school anymore, but I love that feeling. So I'm calling this back to school cool, because Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classic are the must-have for getting into a routine and making everything feel smoother. Their Everyday Earbuds Classic are packed with upgrades, active noise cancellation, and multiple connectivity, so you can pair two devices at once, which you know that I love. And my favorite thing about them is that you can quick charge in 10 minutes and get 90 minutes of playtime. That helps my mom brain out. And this new cool mint color, I love it. I absolutely love it. I feel like it was made for me. So click that link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/Sackhoff to get 20% off site-wide today.